Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. It's no secret that I believe that at some point in the future, XRP will hit a new all-time high and enter price discovery. And it's also no secret that I think what's most probable to occur is that XRP, this market cycle, will hit that new all-time high, will enter price discovery, will melt faces. That's my expectation. With the asterisk there being, my little caveat, as long as we have a proper alt season, as long as we get, sufficient liquidity flows in, we have an expansion in markets like we've always seen in previous market cycles. Yes, XRP is going to go along for the ride, but it won't do it by itself. I don't think so. I don't think it's remotely probable. And so certainly nobody knows for sure what's going to happen here, but that's my bet. Now, what if we have to wait a little bit longer than you might hope? Are you still going to stick around? What if, nothing crazy here, but what if it didn't take off until, say September of next year? Would that be a deal breaker for you if it doesn't start going until then? Well, I'm going to share with you perspective from a popular chart analyst. And if what he's saying correct, then I'll tell you that my opinion is that what it means for XRP is you could potentially have to wait longer, but not necessarily. And I will say this too, because it's not intended to scare anybody or be a downer about anything. I mean, if that's what it takes, by the way, I'll just wait anyway. But it certainly is the case that we could be seeing some serious fireworks even this quarter. I mean, there's good reason to think that we could potentially see some serious XRP price action sooner. And then even if you're talking about a blow off top for XRP happening, close to a year from now, we would say it's September of next year. Not that I'm convinced it's going to happen, but just, sharing ideas here. Even if that's the case, it doesn't mean that you can't see a major first leg up prior to that, because we saw that in each of the last two market cycles. XRP had a big move, and then about half year later, it had another big move, and that was where it hit its peak for the cycle. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. I wanted to briefly mention this too. This is a headline from the Crypto Basic. Analyst suggests XRP macro cycle wave 3 could push prices to $12 plus. Now, I'm not familiar with this particular analyst, but I can't be familiar with every analyst, so not that it necessarily matters, but it's an analyst named Chitin, if I'm pronouncing his name right, and I'm probably not. But here's an XRP USD chart. And here's what they were talking about. I don't need to read through the article here, but it is one more analyst, and this is the reason I wanted to highlight it. Every time I come across an analyst, it's so, there's the process, they're the way they're justifying the types of trend lines they're drawing. It's so similar from analyst to analyst to analyst, even if there's little distinctions amongst them. The only time I find analysts that don't agree with this type of thought process, you go look into that analyst's history and you find that they've actually got a multi-year history of just bashing XRP because reasons, and they're just irrational humans. Well, yeah, you can find those. You can find plenty of those. But, if you're talking about analysts who don't have a track record of irrationally hating on XRP, it's almost impossible to find one that doesn't think we're going to hit a new all-time high this market cycle. That is what I'm experiencing in life. That is not what I have seen for most of the last nearly 7 years that I've been an XRP holder. But I'm seeing that now. It's super duper rare. I'm just sharing that with you. And I just, it's a probability and we don't know for sure it's going to happen. But usually when this many analysts, as long as they're reputable analysts, they come to the same or similar conclusions, usually they're right. That's been my experience. But anyway, here's what he wrote. A macro XRP chart I made for one of my clients. Personally, not having any XRP now, but XRP's macro structure looks really, really impressive, to be honest. 5 waves up extension in 2014 through 2017 run equals macro cycle wave 1. Then a multi-week / multi-month sideways ABCDE structure and a triangle since 2018 equals macro cycle wave 2. If everything goes according to the plan, then wave 3 minimum target will be fib 1.618, which is $12.75, according to Elliott Wave Theory textbook, and this should be reachable in this bull market. Let's see how it goes. That's, my friends, this is in line with what I keep seeing from after analyst after analyst after analyst, and I know that we have seen coins with about this much money that has already been pumped in them from the beginning of their existence to where XRP is now, when I've seen coins similarly situated in terms of like market cap, meaning how much money has ultimately been pumped into it. And by the way, market cap, of course, I know that is not an indication of how much money is put into it. If there's a $30 billion market cap, it doesn't mean people put $30 billion in. But what I'm saying is the price gets bid up to as more money flows in, and then you end up with that type of market cap. So with where XRP is right now, what I'm saying is that I've seen other coins, and I keep citing ETH because it's the most obvious one, where from one cycle to the next, it had more than a threefold increase. And this is after the 2017 market cycle, going into 2020, 2021, more than a threefold increase. So if XRP does that, it would put you probably fairly close to the price range he's talking about at $12.75. It would probably be somewhere around there. So is it possible? Yeah, I've seen it with other coins. Humans absolutely can behave in such a way that they throw in enough money that the price of a crypto gets bid up, including XRP. Now, that's not me making a prediction. I'm just telling you, because like if you ask, is this something that's in the realm of possibility? Is it crazy? Which one is it? It's not crazy. It is within the realm of possibility. Humans have behaved in such a way that they have pushed individual cryptocurrencies up that high, even once there's been this much money pumped into them. Yes, the answer is yes. And that's exciting. Now, it's not a guarantee it's going to happen, and I openly admit I do not know, but I'm here for the long haul. However long this takes, I'm going to be here holding XRP. I'm an optimist, and I say for good reason. There's also this headline. I want to mention this at least briefly. It's from you today. Binance's XRP holding spike. Is bull run back? Which is kind of interesting because, and this isn't exactly what happened. You'll explain as we go through. So if you see an influx of XRP on exchanges, that can be a sign that people are about to dump all over the place, because if they're taking XRP out of cold storage and sending it to an exchange, well, I mean, why are they doing that? Now, that's not what's happening here, and that's the cool thing. So why is the exchange balance going up then? Well, check this out. The world's largest crypto exchange, Binance, has released its freshly printed Proof of Reserves report, which shows the ratio between customers' net balances and the exchanges. One of the highlights is the performance of XRP reserves on Binance, as they have suddenly seen a notable increase. Thus, in 1 month, the cumulative net balance of Binance customers in XRP has increased by 6%, or roughly 165 million XRP, and reached a total of 2.92 million XRP. Binance, on its behalf, increased its net balance to match the increasing balance of its customers, and it can be said that over 330 million XRP, which is equivalent to about $175 million in current prices, were added to net balances. The coverage ratio for XRP on Binance is now 100.66%. In terms of net balances, XRP is currently the 7th largest asset. So what we're seeing here is, yes, so Binance, they're proving that they're actually backing what customers believe they hold on the exchange. And another thing that I think this shows, and it's one of the reasons I also wanted to mention this, is so great. Happy to see that there's all these customers from Binance purchasing XRP. Great. You'll love to see it. It also means that they're not putting it in cold storage, which I think is not the best idea. To each their own. I mean, there are pros and cons to self-custody and keeping it on exchanges. I think that the benefits far outweigh the risks. That's just me personally, but you all do whatever you want to do. In my supposition, I don't have proof, that's why I said supposition, is that most people, when they buy crypto, they're not taking self-custody. They're not. They're just leaving it on exchanges. And I would assume that if people feel like it's not something that's sufficiently consequential, that would be why. But that's most people. That's also why, when I look at the total number of XRP wallets in existence, at over 5.3 million now, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm guessing that there's a lot more than 5.3 million people that have ever held XRP, because my gut feeling on this, could be wrong, but my gut feeling is that most people aren't reflected in that because they're their XRP is in a shared address on like Binance or Coinbase or pick your exchange. So I don't think it's reflected. I'm willing to bet that it's much more than that number. I also understand that on the flip side, people can hold, like I do, for example, have multiple XRP accounts. But my guess is that that's going to be far outweighed by the majority of people, which I speculate are not taking self-custody. So just some food for thought. But I think that there's a reason our community appears to be as big as it is. It's because there's a crazy number, literally probably millions of people holding XRP right this very second. So it's not just you that thinks it makes sense. I'll just say that. And then we have this from chart analyst Greg Crypto, and this is what I was kind of teasing at the outset of the video, because what if we have to wait a little bit longer than we might like to? And so Greg Crypto is talking about Bitcoin here specifically, not XRP, in terms of when you might see a peak for the cycle. So even though he's talking about Bitcoin, which is perfectly fine, and I find it curious as well, Bitcoin leads the market. We are not going to see a serious alt season until we see Bitcoin lead the way first. So if you're talking about where and when Bitcoin's going to peak, you can kind of figure that in terms of where the alt season fireworks are going to be. Maybe some of it occurs before that. I think we could see a lot of excitement, and it could be a lot of fun. But if you're talking about way later in 2025, which, I don't know, maybe we'll see. It's not my base case, but I mean, it could happen. Even if that's the case, it doesn't mean XRP wouldn't go. We might have to wait slightly longer than what perhaps we would prefer to. But look, for me, I'm as patient as they come. I've been holding XRP for almost 7 freaking years. So even if it is another 11, 12 months, I'll be like, okay, whatever. As long as we have a proper alt season, though, I'd just be shocked if XRP doesn't go along for the ride. That does not make sense to me. That makes no freaking sense. And I just don't buy the arguments, because anytime I see anybody that makes an argument, well, XRP's not going to, it's the dino coin or stupid narrative, this or that, I'm like, yeah, but you've proven to me over a span of years that you just hate XRP irrationally, so I can't take you seriously. It doesn't make sense. I could be wrong, but I firmly believe XRP is going to go for the ride. Firmly, I've never felt more confident in that. So anyway, here's a Bitcoin USD chart. Here's what Greg Crypto had to say. Bitcoin cycle top projection, May 2025 or September 2025. What's your bet? Here's a sneak peek at the anticipated cycle top based on the 21 EMA and 55 MA moving average, specifically focusing on the bullish cross and measuring the interval from that cross until a new all-time high / cycle peak. Historical data shows us that in cycle A, 490 days to reach the cycle peak. And then there's cycle B, and you can see that was the 2017 era one, 770 days to reach cycle peak. And then he shows cycle C, which was the last bull market, so 2020, 2021 mostly anyway. 896 days to reach cycle peak. And then he says cycle D, that's the one we're in right now, it's unfolding. He says cycle D is unfolding right now, and cycle A's time frame already expired in August 2024. That leaves us with cycle B or cycle C as potential guides for the next peak. If we follow those patterns, we're looking at either May 2025 or September 2025 for the next top. Right, and so it's interesting, and I think totally reasonable to draw upon the past, look at the past to draw upon that, and to come to reasonable speculation about what might happen this time. Obviously, there's a fair bit of range between cycles, as he labeled them, A, B, and C, with the shortest being 490 days, then there's 770, and the longest being 896 days. So it doesn't mean it can't be, it doesn't mean it couldn't be next month. I mean, there's obviously a broad range there. It doesn't mean it couldn't be longer than what he labeled as cycle C, not for sure anyway. But as I frequently point out, and chart analysts do this all the time, I'm not a chart guy, but chart analysts point this out all the time, history, although it doesn't literally repeat, it kind of rhymes with itself. And so that's why when you're looking at cyclically what happens here, it makes sense to come to suppositions, have some suppositions about what is most likely to unfold here. So, and some analysts think it's going to be, you're going to see a peak for Bitcoin, maybe the first quarter of 2025. Some still think we're going to see it run up the Q4 this year. Nobody knows for sure, but I will be ready to give credit where it's due with whoever is right. And so in this particular case, Greg Crypto, he's just laying out, hey, here's some data. If so-and-so happens, this is what it would look like. He's in this particular post, he's not saying that's what's going to happen. But it is possible, I acknowledge that it could take that long. But if it does, I mean, fine. XRP, it's going to take even longer to pop, but true of every other altcoin. I'm going to be here, though. I am more stubborn than anybody else that owns cryptocurrency. I am, and I mean this, I'm dead serious when I say this. I am just as patient as the first time I ever bought XRP. The first time I bought XRP was November 17th, 2017. I feel just as patient today as I did back then, because that is what it takes to invest. You have to have a long-term mentality. You don't know if it's going to pop next day, next week, next year, a decade. You don't know for sure. And so here we are all these years later. Obviously couldn't have known the SEC was going to attack us and ruin last cycle for us. But this is what it takes. And it's fine. It is what it is. And this is also why it makes sense to have broad exposure to the crypto asset class. I'm excited for it, though. Whatever it takes, I am going to have my exposure whenever this thing goes. And I hold literally 42 different cryptocurrencies. I'm going to keep holding all of them. My bags are packed. I am ready to go. Whatever it takes, time-wise, fine. I can't control that. I'm an adult. I will wait, and that is fine. And in the meantime, you know what? I don't know about you, but I'm having fun here every single day tracking what's happening. I'm having fun running this YouTube channel and sharing thoughts, my own thoughts as well as thoughts from other people, because I like to share diverse viewpoints on the channel. This is fun, and it's a lot more fun because I have skin in the game, most certainly. But this is just an incredibly exciting time to be in life. This is a once-in-a-species event. There has never been a moment in the history of our species like this, and in terms of opportunity for ridiculous life-changing wealth in short order. And I don't know that there will ever be anything like this quite ever again, to be honest with you. It's just unprecedented times. And so kudos to you for paying attention and doing your best to take advantage of this. There's certainly risk associated with it, but man, the opportunity. It's been proven over a span of 15 years, and there's so little money in this asset class compared to others. It couldn't be more obvious. And crypto's here to stay. XRP continues to get further adopted. How could somebody not be excited about all this, and specifically XRP? That does not compute to me if you don't. Now, I know you guys get it. I'm probably preaching to the choir here. But that's why it makes sense to wake up with a freaking smile every day, guys, because we're on the cusp of this, whether it's next week or next year, whatever. Not that it would take that long necessarily. Who cares in the end? And then we have our life-changing wealth, and we get to, do whatever the hell it is we want to do with it. Fantastic. That's on the table still. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.